Today's order came down as an estimated 60,000 people joined Black Lives Matter in a silent march through Seattle. This time-lapse video captured the extraordinary line of people walking the streets. It took more than 2 hours for all the marchers to pass by our camera. It was by far the largest gathering we've seen since the demonstrations against racial injustice and police brutality began 2 weeks ago. The silent march was a stark contrast to the occupation on Capitol Hill, which poses the question, which is the best way to get attention and bring change? KOMO's Cole Miller spent some time at that march and at Chaz.
Well, Eric, good evening. Yeah, as you would imagine, just about everyone has their own opinion as to what method works best. Those we spoke with at today's march, as well as out here at Chaz tonight, tell me that both are working, and many say that both are just the beginning of a conversation and that people need to be in this for the long haul.
It's kind of hard to tell when you're on the ground how big it is.
From that perspective on the streets to the picture from the sky, a massive march spanning miles led by Black Lives Matter, Seattle, King County.
And it was a really powerful experience. I actually teared up a few times.
Janae McNeil says this is progress, that this can work to enact change, but that it's just a start.
Change happens from the ground up. We can't expect, on a national level, police reform to happen and to hit all of these cities.
There was a lot of people, a lot of solidarity.
For Moot Jackson, who was also at that march, it comes down to getting involved at a local level and putting pressure on those in charge.
People might get mad at protesters, but you got to protest. You have to have your voice heard. You have to vote.
And over at the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, we were curious what people there have to say about what works better, a march or what's taking place there. The answer we heard, both are effective, and talking about reform has to happen in more than one place.
You have to teach it in school. It has to be in the workplace. It has to be everywhere for real change. I think this is a movement that's going to change the world.
A movement where the focus at times has been questioned. This banner reminding everyone at Chaz.
I think this is a start. Once this is over, I just wonder how it's going to continue.
And as we come back out here live, this is a look to the entrance of Chaz at the intersection of 12th and East Pike. It's worth mentioning I did reach out to the mayor's office to see what works best to get her attention, if there's a way that people can reach out or best make sure that their voices are heard, if there's a method that may take precedence or get to her better, but we did not hear back. Back to you.
Cole, thank you. Just in, President Trump is changing the date of his next campaign rally after facing criticism for holding it June 19th. That's the day commemorating the end of slavery. And tonight, the president tweeted that many of his African-American friends and supporters reached out to suggest changing the date out of respect for the June date. He says he's honoring their request by moving the rally back one day to June 20th. It'll be his first campaign rally since the start of the coronavirus epidemic. This is a live look at the I-90 bridge. The wives of some Seattle Seahawks football players are organizing a march across the bridge tomorrow. Linebacker KJ Wright posted on Instagram that his wife is organizing a march in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. It starts at 2 p.m. at Davis Park in Mercer Island. Today, the city granted one of the requests that community groups have been asking for. It's committing to transferring ownership of the vacant Fire Station 6 to the community. Africatown has plans to use the Central District Station as a center for cultural innovation.
Despite the rain, organizers say 60,000 people took part in a silent march in Seattle. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Jessica Janner Castro.
And I'm Mark Wright. So we've seen a protest every day for the past 2 weeks in Seattle, but today's was the largest event by far. King 5's Kayla Lafferty shares the message from protesters.
Silence speaks volumes is what event organizers told people as they left Judkins Park and made their way completely silently here to Jefferson Park. It was a message that resonated with thousands.
When you don't say anything, sometimes that speaks a volume.
It's estimated that as many as 60,000 people took to the streets of Seattle with a message.
And I think it's really powerful just to be silent sometimes.
Black Lives Matter Seattle King County called for people to gather in silence and march in the memory of George Floyd and other lives lost.
Every black life that has been taken suddenly matters, and we want everyone to know we want justice.
People from all different backgrounds, races, and ages joined into the silent march.
for the Asian American community and everything that happened with George Floyd and the Asian American cop that was standing by. It was really just kind of, I don't know, maybe a wake-up call to really say, you know, Asians need to stand by our black brothers and sisters.
Kristen Sue used the march as a way to plant a seed in the next generation to grow up in Seattle.
I think it was really important for me to start having those conversations within our family and, you know, talk to my kids about that.
Even Seattle's pouring rain couldn't stop the movement that was 60,000 strong.
That power hopefully translates into real change.
Are we close to it being changed? No, we're not. We still have a long way to go.
There was another element to this as well. Event organizers asked anyone who couldn't come to the silent march to strike, not go to work, and not work from home, and instead take that and turn it into action towards change. In Seattle, Kayla Lafferty, King 5 News.